Yeah. This ain't no handouts. No shortcuts. No middleman.
No middleman.
No middleman.
No middleman. Middleman.
No middleman.
Middleman. Middleman.
No middleman.
Middleman. Middleman.
No middleman, I get it direct. Pressure talk, I don't deal in the flex. Cut the line, I don't wait, I collect. If it's mine, I'ma claim my respect. No middleman, I move with intent. Boss moves only, every dollar was spent. No favors, no deals, no rent. Built from the ground, now the whole game bent. Started with a vision, had to cut the distractions. No handshakes, just results and reactions. They was talking plays, I was making it happen. Turn losses to losses, then flipped it to passion.
Disclaimer: this broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. No middleman. Truth don't disappear just because time passes. Yeah. Back when the world stopped, streets went quiet. Families prayed while the sirens got louder. Screens kept flashing, another headline. Hope got smaller, while the fear grew stronger. People stay home, dreams got delayed. Small businesses faded away. Some kept working, some lost everything. Everybody remembers those days. Now years later, the questions remain. Different opinions, but the memories stay. If the chapter is closed, why is everybody still searching for what wasn't explained? Questions still remain. Who's gonna answer for the pain? Everybody got a story to tell. Everybody says they know it well. Truth ain't red, truth ain't blue. Truth belongs to all of you. If we're healing, let it start today. 'Cause questions still remain. Some stood firm, some changed their minds. Some paid prices measured in time. Career shifted, friendships broke. Every decision carried hope. Science moved at record speed.
There will be a surprise outbreak. Given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around for a while and have had the opportunity and the privilege and the pleasure of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge, the coming administration, in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. And I hope by the end of my relatively short presentation, you will understand why history, the history of the last 32 years that I've been the director of NIA.
Good evening and welcome to No Middleman. Tonight isn't about reliving the pandemic. It's about asking whether we really, truly finished talking about it. Millions of lives were changed. Families lost loved ones. Businesses closed. Careers were interrupted. Governments made unprecedented decisions. Pharmaceutical companies made unprecedented y'all, it's Monday. Profits. Companies made profits. pharmaceutical companies made some money out. And now, years later, one of the most recognizable faces of the pandemic sits before Congress and answers one question the same way: I plead the fifth. Does silence protect constitutional rights, or does it deepen public distrust? Tonight, we're not here to rewrite history. We're here to ask whether history has been fully explained. Welcome in.
You're not rocking with the realest podcast in the room. No middleman. Souls. Soft rain. Uncle Plug. Let's go. No middleman.
During and after the COVID pandemic, I have appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath, and sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews, answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you. During and after the COVID pandemic, I have appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath, and sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews, answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
There you have it, man. Welcome into No Middleman. As y'all see, you guys see what we're talking about tonight. Kind of want to just give you guys some talking points for those who aren't abreast to what's going on. We have Dr. Fauci here, man. Dr. Fauci pled the fifth 111 times in over a 3-hour Senate hearing chaired by Rand Paul, which is the Senate of Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. He did not answer a single question during the entire hearing. Fauci stated justification that attorneys advised him, given ongoing legal exposure, to plead the fifth. One of the legal wrinkles in this whole story is Biden pardoned Fauci on his last day in office, January 19th, 2025, for conduct related to his government work. Critics say that means that there's no valid Fifth Amendment bias for his pre-2025 conduct. So how do you guys feel about what's currently going on with Fauci?
He should go to prison.
All this. I really was. I didn't know. I worked through the entire pandemic. So it was until all this came out recently. I never dived deep into it like some people did. I was living life the best I could. You know, my job told me I needed to come to work. I was at work every day. I went to work every single day. You know, some people, they didn't have jobs, or some people had to work from home and whatnot. And unfortunately, at that time, it seemed, I'm not gonna say it seemed normal to me. I guess because I wasn't affected by having to stay at home, that I didn't deep dive into it at all. So, but hearing everything I'm hearing, and hearing different people's opinions and their the findings, the reason why they are questioning Fauci and whatnot. And I did watch another documentary on it over the last couple of days. It really opened my eyes to everything that's everything that went on, you know, and it gives me another perspective of, hey, you know, everything makes sense now because it wasn't making sense before, you know.
What's your thoughts on it, Plug?
I think that he was set up, not set up, but actually led to do this. I think that he's a puzzle piece to a bigger agenda. I don't think he's the only one. He's just the fall guy, and he knew he was going to be the fall guy. Mm. I think everyone that stepped out in front of this thing, everything that does happen that ultimately backfires, knows that they're going to be that guy. And he was fine with it. And I would say that he was fine with it. And now, the only thing he has to do is plead that fifth, you know, and take his blows, lay low. He's old enough now. I'm pretty sure he's accumulated enough money. I guess there was a big bag into it. Did we play the disclaimer?
Yep.
Did we have Lovely Rain on the disclaimer? We played it after the theme song. Okay, yes. Well, yes. He's definitely a scapegoat. He's definitely the fall guy. He's definitely the one that's going to take this and ride off to the sunset with his bag.
Hmm.
Can you explain that better to me? Like why would he be the scapegoat in the pandemic?
Because I think, just my conspiracy theory of mind, I believe that this was not a disease or a virus. I felt that it was the implement of 5G, because that was actually being implemented at the same time this was happening. And I think that a lot of people fell ill due to the waves that are constantly, like the power lines that are over us creates whatever it does create cancer, you know, like it does. And then implementing that 5G network, because, you know, they wanted to put in, what is it called, the images where they the 5G, what is it called, where they can just see you, like the images. I can't remember the
facial
term
recognition.
Yes, there you go, sweetheart. There you go. Thank you. And I think that while they were implementing this, I think that that's why everyone was getting sick.
So you think it?
I thought,
But
yeah.
I'm not questioning what you how
Yeah, I'm just
you know.
I'm just trying to see
No.
how it all goes together.
Yeah, because this was like a respiratory virus, a
Mhm.
respiratory illness.
Yeah, because according
So
to the WHO, I mean, we lost almost 13.3 million people. Like, I
Yeah.
don't.
They were
Okay.
saying it was airborne. They were saying it was airborne.
Yeah, but
I
but
thought,
but we also know it was created in a lab too.
yeah, it was created. They said it was created in the lab.
It is.
But I thought,
We're gonna get to it. He wrote a whole diary. Like, they got his diary. That's what brought this all back up. Fauci
from a
wrote
bat.
Fauci wrote a diary about everything that was transpiring throughout this whole COVID pandemic. Like, they literally are going to be reading from the diary of the things he wrote, which we'll cover some of it today. So I'm just trying to, because I'm trying to understand, like, I don't use, because you don't use, and you don't usually see people thinking the Democratic Party will be part of something that would damage the environment and damage people and lose lives. We don't, y'all normally leave that for the Project 2025 and
Mhm.
like, so I'm just trying to grasp like where we heading on this one.
Whether Democrat or Republic,
Mhm.
it's still the same government to me, bro. Whether it's NFC or AFC, it's still the NFL, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing to me. I don't see no differentiate. You know, I don't. You know what I mean?
So how do y'all feel about it though? Like, how do y'all feel about the lives that were lost, the things that we all, well, I've been talking about this since I was on No Middleman with me and Plug, and we've been talking about this, but I told y'all it was fake.
Mhm.
I seen it. I was literally working in DC. Like, I told everybody, like, the Pentagon had already sent everybody home into the next March. Like, you know what I mean? Like I already knew what was going on. I'm just trying to see, like, are we okay with someone who knows what was going on now pleading the fifth over 111 times?
Mhm.
Also got a pardon by President Joe Biden.
Mhm.
But then this is also the same team that initially tried to blame Trump for everything that happened. Now we're finding out these things were already put into place. I know you weren't here at the beginning, Pub, but I played a video where he predicted this back in 2017.
yeah, he said a surprise. That
So
really,
yeah,
That's
so
why
like,
when you say he predicted it, that's why I was, and then was also that if not totally in totality, I
yeah,
still feel like 5G network had something to do with it. It was just it had something to do with it. Just that's my feeling. I could be wrong. I'm cool. I'm cool with being wrong. Hey, Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong, sweetie. I'm cool with it. You know, souls,
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I still feel like 5G had something to do with it.
okay.
I think it's a bigger mission, a bigger plan involved, and you know it's about population control as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, this gentleman who knows what was going on is literally pleading the fifth. It's almost like we're okaying someone lying in our faces. Like,
Mhm.
I'm trying to understand society today.
Shit.
We will fight we will fight things that have no evidence and ignore the things that have plenty of evidence.
Right, and
Mhm.
it'll be right there in our face.
It's right in our
Mhm.
face. Like, so I'm trying to understand with Fauci, with everything going on, like, how do people feel about this long term? Because we're going to talk about a few topics tonight, not
Mhm.
just with Fauci, talk about these things that affected people, lives. Over like 13, almost 14 million people lost their lives from this COVID pandemic. It changed a lot of people's lives, which we'll talk about in different ways tonight as well. So just trying to get the temperature of the room. Trying to get the temperature. So how do y'all feel about Fauci possibly getting charged with contempt of court?
Let it happen.
Man,
Do
I
y'all
hope
think
they
this
met.
is, you think this is something they gonna let go? Like,
Sweep
he
it from
gonna
the rug and be done with
yeah,
it.
he gonna somehow weasel out of it?
He'll have to live with that for the rest of his life, though. For him, it questions. It makes me question his conscience, knowing that knowing what he knows and knowing how it exactly happened. It makes me question, like, he's a thoughtless soul. This affected so many families, especially my family. On my father's side, we lost 4 people within a month. So it. Mm. It
Man,
just
if
makes me
you
see
think,
the pandemic differently now that all of this has come up. Because like I said earlier, I was a little bit naive to everything that was going on. But yeah,
man, if you think for 1 second that these devils in these positions feel any empathy or
of
sympathy,
course not.
no, because if he did, the barrel of a steel weapon would be in his mouth. The ones that really know that they did that type of, evil, man, they take themselves off the planet. The ones that don't plead the fifth. Real talk, boo boo. I'm telling you, man, they have no concern. Like the ones, it seems as if the powers that be have no concern. We are the only country that's like this.
Yeah.
Like we are the only country that's like this. We teeter like we're like, when it comes to a communist country and us, like, I don't like that type of rhetoric, but it's true. When it comes to us in a we're not too far away from that. We become more fascist than anything. Like they have no soul when it comes to sucking the money out of you while raising prices and putting things out. They're saying this is a part of the plan. Like, how evil can you be? Like, they have no soul. They have no soul. These people, when they say like these are reptilian people, I believe it. I be like, they got to be, because you are soulless. You can't be a red-blooded human being and not feel something when it comes to this. You got to feel something. Man, I got to take accountability. I can't just sit up here. Man, I got to take account. You going to have to. If
and he
you
has
don't,
0.
think about it.
It don't. Does it upset y'all?
Does it?
Yes.
But but for how long? I'm gonna run my blood pressure about, what I'm saying? That's like yelling at
It makes
somebody.
it feel some type of way.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be yelling at somebody who don't even hear me. You know what I'm saying? Be like, bro, it's like you screaming, and somebody say, bro, they can't hear you, dog. It's like screaming at the TV. Tell me to catch the ball. Man, you know they can't hear you, bro. They don't even care, bro. The concern level is high. The anger is low.
I'm just always like interested. I'm just always interested, like, how the world accepts some things and then some things like we don't accept, and then I guess it's very unique to me. It's just very, very unique to me. It's like, especially like being in that DC area, like seeing everything go on, like literally watching them on the golf course in Delaware. You know, I'm watching. They talking about being 6 feet apart, and like I'm watching these cats playing golf together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very unique to me. Like, so.
So what's your perspective on it? So
I think it's a bigger conversation. I look at it more as we would take moments in life to almost say one group is against one group, but then we will watch a group attack everyone within the group, and we don't have the same energy about it. Like, we just kind of oh, my blood pressure will go high. Oh, but like this, we have evidence that somebody literally lied to us in our face. Like, it's right there in plain sight.
I never believed it.
No, I'm not saying you.
believed.
I'm not saying you. I know I didn't believe. I worked in it. Like I seen it. So I'm just trying to figure out. But like, how do we not be more pissed off about this? Because people, I lost my aunt. My aunt died in Las Vegas. Literally, didn't even get to make it home to Houston, to her home state. She was on the machine for 2 weeks. My brother almost died. He was on like so. I don't understand like how we don't have this like passion for something that we know was put here to take out everybody, but then we will argue for months about groups.
I was out in the pandemic the whole time, couldn't have around many of people. I was still working the whole pandemic.
Oh, me too.
We ain't
closed at all. We ain't closed at all. We
became
essential work. We became essential workers.
Essential workers, yeah.
Yep. I did the test, came back, no COVID. I'm talking about did another test to see how susceptible you were to getting it. Mine was low.
I actually caught it. I actually had it. I was down for about 2 weeks.
I had it twice.
It got bad.
Didn't know I had it.
It got bad. One time I woke up one morning, couldn't see. Had to go to Fort Belvoir, ER, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll have to have this talk like on another platform where we talk about it at a different level, I guess. But yeah, Fauci lied, man, 111 times. Pled the fifth, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it in later on today about his diary and things of that nature and how other people were affected by it. So we're going to get to the chat, and then we'll move on to our next segment.
Little Ray said he would have to answer to God one day, just like all of us will.
Shout out Lil Ray. I don't know why I thought that was Lil Penny the whole time.
Big Scope said this is the same soil, different roots, or no middleman, because this looks like same soil, different roots. Penny said we're not done with Fauci yet. Little Ray said lies. He said that's it. My blood pressure is the highest it's ever been listening to the murderer. Miles said lethal injection sounds appropriate. Lil Ray said no middleman, but middle women. Ray said makes me sick.
Welcome in, Lil Ray too. Thank you.
Miss V said, "Is he corrupted he is corrupted and the scapegoat?" In my opinion. She said 100 with the fire emojis. She said he should lose his license for malpractice. Maddie said they have to sacrifice someone.
Is he a real doctor anyway?
He's a
what
is his title? I forgot what his title is. Mrs. V says so many people passed away between September and November before they even told us about this health attack.
Big facts.
Yeah. Miles said it was a chemical population control.
What's going on? Okay.
Mrs. V said in nursing homes, a lot of residents and workers pass away.
Yeah.
Ms. V said they are all corrupted. She said nothing will get better or change for the better until they remove money from politics.
These next one we're gonna post, but we won't read just in case.
Okay.
But it's right there for y'all. He giving y'all the way to get these things out of your system.
Thank you, Clay. Mine says right, it's a two-headed coin. Clay said it's not avoidable detox people. Mrs. V said classic codes, thank you. Penny said there is a liberal agenda just as much as a conservative one, all based on control and capitalism, just different strategies. Penny said we've been okaying someone lying in our face every election. Why stop now?
Yeah.
Maddie said even if he gets charged, the orange man will clear him.
Not at all.
No?
No.
Skull said the
I it wouldn't make sense if it wouldn't even look right for Biden to pardon him and then for Trump to save him. It wouldn't make sense optics wise. Now the next Democrat that might get in the White House could.
Sco said the pandemic was a scheme to try to take out as many people as possible the way they were depopulating America.
Yeah.
1,000.
As I said, don't talk about the reptiles, plugs, the feds are watching. Maddie said it was a trap to make the poor poorer and the middle class poor and the rich richer.
We're going to be talking about that tonight, Muriel.
Mr. B said yes. Hey, Jen put the war room in there, the facts and the overfeelings and all of that good stuff. Mrs. B said they all fear third party. She put 100 in praying hands. She said a lot of people were forced to get those vaccinations and those boosters because the Riley House was threatened. Penny said the demic was an illusion. Almost. The demic was an illusion to reset the U.S. economy and place more safeguards for control and surveillance. The transfer of wealth during that time due to major industries crashing was unparalleled. I said, oh. He said, we gonna say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, everybody storm the Capitol. Charge!
There you go.
Allegedly.
There you go.
Allegedly.
Class said, what is it you want people to do, Souls?
Nothing at all.
Skull said, because even when people that got the vaccine, some of them died, but the vaccine was supposed to cure or kill the virus. I don't think it was supposed to cure or kill it. I think it was for prevention, to give you the antibodies to prevent you from being as ill as you could be getting it without it. That's my perspective on it. Mrs. B said a lot of people were forced to get those vaccinations and those boosters because their livelihoods, their jobs were threatened. And that's back on it. Sco said I had it twice within the same month. Dang, Sco. It makes me think if it just went dormant, then I would think if it ever just went away.
It's still cases of COVID right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. B said I caught COVID twice and I received all the vaccinations and boosters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Classic said group on group can be resolved, blood or otherwise. Government is undefeated against the public and the federal level. Classic said the government hit the Thanos button, which y'all gonna do nothing per usual.
Man, so that's segment number 1, man. We were just talking about Dr. Fauci pleading the fifth 111 times. They're still having sit-ins about it still to today. He said the only antibody is fruits and vegetables. Yeah. And the boosters and stuff was originally came out for high-risk medical people at first. That's what the initial onset was for. But once they seen that they could make money by big pharma is the reason why they started pushing all the different vaccines. Because if you think about people like Moderna and all those people, they started making extra money, more and more money. Even Johnson & Johnson got in on it, right? Johnson & Johnson came in and said that you can take one shot instead of taking two, and so everybody got on the move. Yeah, everybody got on the move with it. So we got to see it firsthand. Being in DC, like at our base, we got to see it firsthand. Like we were being told like what different strands were gonna come out, like just because like we were one of the pilot bases. So we were doing they were doing a lot of isolated things at our little base, because a lot of people, when you think about DC, you think about Maryland area where Air Force One is and all that stuff. Everybody think about Andrews, but nobody thought about our Air Force base with the Air Force Band and all. So we did a lot. It was a lot going on at our small base. We were actually one of the only bases initially to not close at all. And they were doing a lot of stuff. And I remember I had a lot of questions. Like I asked a lot of questions. I'm like, so because we started first, they started shutting down the clinic. We were outside bringing people their meds and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, well, this is supposed to be airborne. At this time, y'all, we didn't have masks. Masks wasn't even talked about. Like it was so much stuff going on. from the step to me, the steps didn't make sense, and that's when I started asking questions. It just didn't make sense at all. So, but yeah, he
Penny
said,
said,
yeah,
"Oh, go ahead." Penny said, "Vex was a fierce simulation trial run to see how much control they have over the masses."
yeah,
Boy, you ain't lying, Penny.
but the real control was actually it was more control overseas than it was stateside. Overseas, they were actually grocery shopping alphabetically. You can only do certain commutes. So like overseas actually took it very seriously compared to like us at the stateside. They control overseas heavy. We had people who couldn't even PCS or come to the States because you couldn't travel, couldn't fly, you couldn't do anything. So like it was overseas. They really had a stronghold.
Maddie said, "COVID almost took me out. I was in the hospital for almost a month."
So, man, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what we're going to move over to, man. We're going to move over to our next segment called The Radar with Rain.
Soft rain got Alabama grace all in the spirit. Yeah. Georgia roots in the soul every time you hear it. Yeah.
So tonight with On the Radar with the Rain, we're revisiting a story that many people thought ended years ago. COVID-19 may no longer dominate the headlines. Well, it is now because of Fauci, but for millions of people, the virus truly never left. It's called long COVID, a condition where symptoms continue for months and sometimes even years after the initial infection. According to the CDC, long COVID is recognized as a chronic condition that can affect nearly every system of the body, including the brain, the heart, the lungs, and the nervous system. The symptoms vary from person to person. Some experience overwhelming fatigue, others struggle with brain fog, memory problems, dizziness, shortness of breath, chest pain, racing heartbeats, or loss of taste and smell. Researchers have documented more than 200 possible symptoms associated with long COVID. What makes this condition especially frustrating is that many patients say they look healthy on the outside while battling symptoms that interfere with work, school, and everyday life. Scientists are still trying to understand exactly why it happens. Current research points to several possible causes, including lingering inflammation, immune system changes, organ damage from the initial infection, or even viral remnants remaining in the body. There isn't one single explanation or one universal treatment just yet. The important takeaway tonight in this is long COVID is not simply about feeling tired or being sick or feeling tired after being sick. It's now recognized by major medical organizations as a legitimate condition that can sometimes become disabling. You can play the video.
Hospitals overwhelmed, uncertainty, and fear. 5 years since life came to a standstill, COVID declared a pandemic and a national emergency.
The coronavirus outbreak declared a global pandemic.
But for Shamir Sweeney, it still feels kind of like the first day.
Medical professionals at those hospitals in Baltimore were telling me, you know what, just give it 2 weeks and you'll be fine. My 2 weeks never came.
While the pandemic has faded into the background for many of us, Shamir Sweeney is one of millions of Americans the CDC says is dealing with long COVID, having symptoms that linger long after getting infected.
I stopped being able to walk without any type of assistance. Migraines, blurry vision.
Sweeney got COVID in March of 2020. She was an English teacher in Baltimore when the pandemic hit. Still, she deals with a slew of symptoms like brain fog, body pain, and memory loss, and has a pile of pills to manage them.
This is my acid reflux medication.
We've spoken with Sweeney several times over the years about her condition.
It's hard for me to walk. I actually just was approved for disability. There are times when I still sit and cry.
And now?
5 years later, I can't remember my healthy body. I can't remember my healthy mind.
Dr. Mark Sala, co-director of Northwestern's Comprehensive COVID-19 Center, says doctors have several hypotheses for what causes long COVID, but still don't fully understand who's most at risk for it.
I see plenty of folks who have, for all we know, a good immune system, have been vaccinated, and have done everything well from that standpoint to protect themselves, and will still come in with 6 months of fatigue.
Do COVID vaccines protect you in any way against developing long COVID?
Vaccines prevent against severity of infection, and severity of infection is well linked to having bad consequences from COVID infection.
And answers may be getting further out of reach, with President Trump cutting the Long COVID Advisory Committee last month to get rid of what he called unnecessary parts of the federal bureaucracy. Long COVID patients like Sweeney say it's a blow. She's also worried about losing government disability support, saying working an in-person job is out of reach.
There are days that I can't even get out of the bed.
Researchers at Harvard estimate long COVID has cost the economy over $3 trillion between reduced earnings, increased medical spending, and lost quality of life. Even though Sweeney can't return to the classroom, she's now teaching in a new way, founding the Black Long COVID Experience and sharing resources with others.
That's my goal, to galvanize more Black people.
So as Sweeney slogs through the symptoms, she knows she's not alone.
Dr. John Torres is...
Yeah, so as research continues, one question remains: has the public moved on from COVID while millions of people are still living with its lasting effects? I will say this: my experience, and it put a highlighter on my experience with COVID. Really, so I had COVID in January of 21, and I can't remember exactly the month. Later on in 21, but it was late in 21, so I had COVID twice in 21. In 2024, I fell ill. I was dehydrated. I would say it was my fault of not taking care of myself. Dehydrated I was over exerting myself, having myself everywhere all over and not really taking care of myself. So I ended up in the ER because I was having shortness of breath. I was not keeping anything down. I was, my heart rate was elevated. And in that moment, that the ER, they did the normal blood workup, EKG, all that stuff in the ER while I was there, chest x-rays. The moment the ER doctor walked in, the first question out of her mouth, she was like, "Hey, Miss Bailey, how you doing? What are you dealing with?" None of that. The first question she asked me out of her mouth was, "How many times did you have COVID?" That was her first question. She said, "I have looked at your x-rays. How many times did you have COVID?" So that was in 24. So the lasting effects physically are still in me. I would say I haven't had a chest x-ray in a while, but with that, I think that was my last chest x-ray actually, back in September of 24. But with her being able to see that after 3 years of having COVID, then we know those things are, some people have these lingering COVID, long COVID, as they call it now. So it's not over, and of course COVID, different strains are still going around. But how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think, because a lot of people think, oh, it's all in your mind too, that you're having all these symptoms and whatnot?
I think especially for Black men, we need to really take our health very serious. We were already passing away at a younger age just due to like lack of like normal checkups, things of that nature. I think this is just something that eventually will probably be another cause to like people passing away a little bit sooner. Especially when you don't know how your heart's doing, things of that nature, when stressful environments, stressing day-to-day life. I think it's very unique how quickly we come up with names for things, like long COVID, things of that nature. Kind of like they were already prepared for the long road, but you know what I mean, that type of thing. So it's like you know what I mean. Like it's like we already know what we're gonna call it. We know how we're gonna make this, what it's gonna look like. That's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Plotting and scheming.
Yeah, for real.
Plotting and scheming, and then it's people are evil, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it.
It's so evil, bro. Man, it's disheartening. So like how even like the ones that served, like that's a real blow, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that really served, like you really took a shot at everybody. Like no one's, you notice on those papers that we get under our name, it says expendable. You know what I mean? Like there's an X there that says expendable. They only know you by your name, by your social.
Yep, your DOD number.
Your DOD number. You know what I mean? Like that's And I wonder what DOD truly stands for. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really it's another name for that. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing, bro. It's amazing how the powers that be truly have no soul. And I always said this as a kid. If that's what it takes for me to be that, I'll pass. Because I can deal with myself.
All right, y'all. We can read these comments before we get out of here, or we on the road. Penny said USA influenced trial run world emergency control system since the dollar is not stable source of control anymore. Cast it or carry it. Oh, Mrs. V, I'm sorry. She put the emojis in there. Classic said, I know a guy who had COVID and didn't know it and was smoking loud the whole time. His lungs are certified. I don't know dude name though, chat. Uncle Flood said, I have an idea, Classic. Penny said, and Maddie, glad you still with us. Absolutely. Glad you still with us, Maddie. Classic said, what idea?
I just said who Buddy is.
Miles said our souls is what they want.
Yeah.
So if y'all like catching this on the rewatch, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, and leave your thoughts down in the comment section. I talk back mostly. So this has been On the Radar with Rain. Until you the next time.
Suffering got Alabama grace all in the spirit. Georgia roots in the soul every time you hear it.
All right, man. So that was the Radar with Rain, and y'all already know what's next. It is the Real Spill with Plug.
Real spill for the night is destination. A destination isn't just a place you arrive at. It's the reason you started moving in the first place. It's the end point of a journey, the goal you're working toward, or the purpose you're committed yourself to. But here's the real spill. Too many people talk about the destination while living like they have no direction. They want success without sacrifice, wealth without discipline, peace without forgiveness, and a purpose without preparation. The destination doesn't care how bad you want it. It responds to what you do consistently to get there. Every decision you make is either taking you one step closer or one step farther away from where you say you want to be. Your habits are the GPS. Your discipline is the fuel. Your character is the vehicle. And your mindset is the driver. Don't get so obsessed with the finish line that you ignore the lessons on the road. The journey will teach you things the destination never could. It'll expose your weakness, strengthen your faith, test your patience, and reveal who's really supposed to be traveling with you. Sometimes God changes your route because he's protecting your destination. So stop asking, how much further do I have to go? And start asking, what do I need to become before I get there? Because when your preparation finally meets your opportunity, your destination won't feel like luck. It'll feel like a promise fulfilled. I'm Uncle Plug. This is Real Spill. Choose wisely. Matt Courtney.
So that was Real Spill with Uncle Plug. The word of the day was destination. I think that's a very powerful word, destination. It can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. I know when we was just watching Uncle Plug's not story time, but Plug In with Doe, but he did like a special episode today with Miss Lavender. I threw a little quote in there by Alchemist that said, tell the world what you would like, and tell the world what you want, and it'll conspire to bring it to you. And I feel like that's just part of our destination. Like, we can speak things into existence. We can do a lot of things that we don't think about on a day-to-day basis. But great word of the day, man. Great word of the day. So we're going to move on to our next segment number 2.
Yeah. You're not rocking with the realest podcast in the room. No middleman. Souls.
Soft rain, Uncle Plug, let's go. No middleman.
So we're gonna move on to segment number 2, where we're gonna be talking about those we lost from a lie. I think these are the things that hopefully down the road or a few weeks from now, I think people will really look at this whole Fauci thing and the whole COVID pandemic again, and not just look at what he's doing, but everything that it cost us as a nation. I think the cost was not worth whatever they were trying to manipulate, whatever they were trying to create. So we're going to be talking about those we lost from a lie. We're going to play an old video so you guys can see what was going on in the great state of New York during this time with COVID.
Forget when New York City was in the grips of this pandemic. Hospitals and funeral homes were overwhelmed. Bodies were actually piling up. Refrigerated trucks were brought in to store the bodies. Well, now, more than 1 year later, hundreds of bodies are still sitting in the trucks along the Brooklyn waterfront. News 4's Miles Miller is in Sunset Park with the story.
This is Pier 39 in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, and since the beginning of the pandemic, it's been used as a temporary morgue for the city's medical examiner's office. Inside these refrigerated trailers here are the bodies of 750 people who died at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, some as a result of the coronavirus and others from different causes. During the height of the pandemic, the city took the extraordinary step of storing bodies in cold storage here as city morgues were overrun with the COVID dead. The remains moved here to Pier 39. A spokeswoman for the city medical examiner's office tells News 4, quote, the temporary morgue was created at the height of the pandemic to ensure that families could lay their loved ones to rest as they see fit. With sensitivity and compassion, we continue to work with individual families on a case-by-case basis during their period of mourning, end quote. For some here, the medical examiner's office has had contacts with their families. They've chosen to let their remains be buried at Hart Island, which is a city-owned public cemetery, the largest in the country. For others, the city has lost contact with their next of kin. Each year, about 1,200 people are buried on Hart Island. Last year, that number more than doubled. This year, 504 people have been buried there. FEMA is offering $9,000 in reimbursements for COVID-related funeral expenses. As of today, FEMA tells us they've received some 17,000 applications.
So there you have it, man. Even a year later after the COVID pandemic, there were bodies still sitting in New York. We were still getting a price tag for your toe tag from FEMA. They were losing information for the people who's supposed to know who you are. I don't know how that happens. I don't think my daddy number changed in years. I don't know how you can lose my. I don't know how you can like this. These are the things that like I think ultimately you will have to start to discuss as Fauci situation continues, right? We're gonna have to talk about those things. Like it's not just the disease that was created, the lab it possibly allegedly was created in. It was per the WHO, HWO, there was about almost 14.3 million people that died from this COVID pandemic. And just thinking about bodies sitting in a random city in some random back of trucks. Like, what is y'all feeling about this? Those who was lost from the lie. I think those are the things that, we really got to talk about.
Go ahead, sis.
That hurt my heart. It really. You got all these people, almost 1,000 people, just in the back of these trucks for over a year. And for almost 1,000, for families not to care about them loved ones being in the back of a truck, that's odd to me. So what's really going on? That's super odd to me. It's got to be something else behind that. Unless you can, I mean, I know where was that at? What harbor was that?
It was on Pier
39. Is that
Pier 39 in New York City. Mm-hmm.
It just makes me question who they are and why their families chose. Did their families choose to leave them there and bury them in the city or the city cemetery, or did the families not have the money to do? I mean, FEMA was. I benefited from FEMA. Unfortunately, my stepdad passed away, and COVID was one of the reasons. It was more than just COVID. It was from COVID, and then it moved into him having a stroke. So fortunately, I benefited from a reimbursement from FEMA as far as his end of life expenses went, in that way. Um, but with that being said, even the 9,000, even if it was just $9,000, there are plenty of things like cremation that cost way less than that. Well, it does down here. Cremation and other forms of ways of putting your family members to rest in a dignified way. That's just so. That's not dignified laying in a refrigerated truck. And how do they have them in there? I question that as well. That hurts my heart. Just knowing. I mean, I understand that their souls are no longer there, but still, that was somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead, bud. I don't
And
know.
just see how they turn the tables on us, man, and got us beefing with each other, whether race, creed, or color.
Thank you. I was what?
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, whether it's race, creed, or color, like, in religion. And I was just speaking to my dad about that today, about the divisiveness. Even when it comes to the word, even when it comes to the parents and the children, when it comes to the word, like, so divisive. And all these things that they've implemented into this systematic structure that creates divisiveness between us, and when the whole time the puppet master is the real enemy. The real enemy. We got to stop taking it out on each other, man. We got to point the finger, man. We could stop all this that's going on. The extortion, the hatred, the murder, the abuse, the stress that they put on us with the financial burdens. Like, if only we could point our fingers at the powers that be and keep our focus on them, and all of us be together. It's more us than it is them. We can make some shake.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to get to, is like the bigger picture of it all. It's like the same system that divides us is the same system that would destroy us all together. Like, think about that in your brain. Like, we can sit up here and beef all day about certain things, but that same system does not care about anything but the bottom line. But the bottom line. You know what I mean? And then I know you were talking about like the price of like cremating. They didn't care about that. They knew that people only cared about money. And that's where our world is becoming, right? Everything we're doing is to profit. Everything. Yeah. Hey, what does it give to a man to profit? The profit to gain the world, to lose his soul. Like that.
I know what that means now.
That's literally America. That's literally what we sit in every day when we will whether disagree or agree to disagree about something that we never gonna solve. Then we got somebody that will blatantly do something in front of us, and we just it's just Fauci. Yeah.
A corporation under a corporation that's under a corporation that's behind the entity. You're working for the entity that's behind the corporation, that's behind the corporation, that's behind the corporation.
And we're so powerful, man. Like I don't like, I know I say that all the time. I think it goes over people's head. We're so powerful, dog. If we can get there's 200, there's people who get 200 million views on YouTube right now. Mm-hmm. If 200 million people were saying, hey, we're not going to buy gas. Hey, till they bring gas prices down to where we want it, we ain't going. We're gonna stay home.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
But like, when you think about it, that's how powerful it can be. Like it's that quick. It's like a snap of the finger. It don't take much for us to make a change. Like for real. Like, hey, today, no going to work.
There's a greater fear of being back where you were when you was broke.
Yeah.
There's a greater fear for that than attacking the powers that be. When you have the power.
Yeah.
And it don't even have to be 100%. If it was 40%,
yeah,
30%, it'd be pop. Boy, I'm telling you, man, I used to think about that behind the wall. Be like, man, ain't number 2 of them guys. Ain't number 2 of these cats right here. It's 100 of us right now. That we can break their neck right now and go straight. Man, we can go 8 shit right now. There ain't nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how psychologically the control that they have over us to where they're making these decisions for us and they work for us. It's been about 25 to 30 years to where it just was a switch to where it's like you do what we say instead of we work for you.
Yeah.
Like, we just gave the power away. Like, gave it away.
And I can't say us because we spoke about it on No Middleman, but I think it's so crazy how people are now talking about it. Like, dog, like COVID happened, it ended, and people just went on by their merry way.
Yeah, remember we was talking about, man, they tried us, bro. Like they literally, bro, they really tried us. Be honest, y'all, I want y'all to listen to this. They really tried to out us. They told you to go in the house and don't you come out. They put us on punishment, grown folks, paying bills, taking care of children, managing firms and companies, told you to go in the house and stay there. And you did. They tried to out us, man. They tried us, God. They tried our soul, bro. If I told you right now, hey, you better not leave that crib this weekend, I swear that. Hey, when you get on Friday, when you get in the house, that's it. You don't come back out of there on Monday. You gonna say, you don't get this out of my face. But that's what they told
you. Yeah.
For months.
And too, it's a lot of people who didn't listen. I clearly remember riding down the highway on a Sunday. Because I even posted about this on Facebook. Church house was still full. All the churches I rode past, they were still full.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they said we need to stay inside, all the churches were still full.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all some numbers too, Rain. I'm gonna give y'all some numbers. So just last year, we were at a war because people felt Donald Trump was cutting the workforce. Federal workforce was just getting cut up. He furloughed all these people. He roughly furloughed 272,000 people, federal workers. During the pandemic, the spring of 2020, about 22 million jobs were lost. It's right here. You can go Google it. During COVID-19, spring of 2020, about 22 million jobs were lost in just 2 months from March to April of 2022. Many workers were temporarily furloughed or laid off, especially in hospitality, travel, restaurants, retails. Millions were later rehired as the economy reopened. But think about that, dog. We just fought. Republicans versus Democrats. Black versus whites, whites versus black, conservative versus none. Over 272,000 lost jobs. But we lost 22 million in 2 months.
Corporations went under.
This is what I be trying to like
Except Walmart.
This is what I be trying to wrap my head around. I know I don't always get full details, but because I know everybody ain't gonna go read or research or whatever. But it's like, if y'all really just look at the play, they can divide you for 6 months of politician voting, but they can be right in your face for 2 months and everybody losing jobs. We losing 14 million people dead. We got trucks sitting in New York where people bodies just decaying and smelling like trash.
And they paid you twice. They gave you 2 stimulus checks.
It was only 2. I thought it was like 3. Was it 2?
I saw 1.
It says the COVID employment shock was roughly 80 to 90 times larger than the reduction in federal civilian workforce of President Trump. We literally were eating each other alive about this topic. For those who cared about politics, I'm not saying everybody. For those who cared about it, right? But then they were able to cut 22 million.
No. And I knew at that time when they were saying, man, how long think we're gonna be locked down? I say not for long. Because I say at the end of the day, you need the peons. The peons gotta work. They gotta work.
Because if they don't work,
they can't eat.
The military, so
yeah, they gotta eat.
It wasn't like I was going to sit at home anyway.
People lost their lives so Amazon can get richer.
Boom.
We started Amazon Flex. We started Uber Eats, DoorDash.
Walmart pickup.
Walmart.
Anywhere pickup now.
Walmart said, F y'all, they'll never open 24 hours again.
Man, that made me so mad. That was the best time to go at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's what we said.
Ain't nobody else in there.
Listen to me and listen to me clearly. We lost lives to make life more convenient for lazy people.
God, dog.
People died. People died for our convenience.
And he ain't lying.
That's literally what happened.
Lying.
People died for our convenience. Nothing came out of this but making the world more easy for those who don't want to work, for those who don't want to get up, those who think they're all of a sudden an entrepreneur. Like everybody want to be on a 1099 and everybody wanted, like, that's all they did. That's all they did.
And as soon as everybody got on a 1099, guess what they did? Raise the taxes.
Yeah.
Bigger extortion. All right.
Telling y'all, man, hey, we can't, man. Hey, we just here to cover it. We just here to cover it from No Middleman. I just want y'all to take those numbers. 22 million jobs cut in 2 months during COVID. 272,000 was cut during Trump's time, federal cut.
So who said Walmart? Who gave Walmart the authority to stay open?
They gave themselves the authority. They big pharma. All that stuff, the pharmacies, all that stuff, everything was pharmaceutical. Everything was pushing, allegedly. Like everything was being pushed. Everything. The top most wealthiest companies became Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Who else? It was one Filipino or some different culture that was on there. I think it was called Reliance or something like that. But it was all these companies. If somebody can look it up, it was like 5 or 10 different businesses that like really like went up from this. So just something to think about, man. Just something to think about, y'all. People lost their lives for our convenience, man. So here we go.
Cold-blooded.
Penny said the government also introduced its own crypto and incorporated the real ID process to track travel and begin unification of economy and identity as a linked function. Maddie said, you realize it targeted minorities, so it was just a way to get rid of us. Mrs. V said, great show. We appreciate you, Mrs. V. Penny said, we need to be glad that the amount of death didn't cause a compounded plague.
That's true.
Sko said, this is America.
Childish Gambino tried to warn us, this is America.
Sko said, facts. Penny said, capitalism. Mrs. V said 100. And it said YouTube and social media is another distraction to divide, but the tool was meant to be used on us, not to be used for us.
Was he asking a question there? He said YouTube and social media is another distraction to
To
divide.
divide.
I talked about, Classic started a series a while back, and we talked about this, and I brought it up in the chat. I don't think these social media platforms became about division until wealthy people started to become what the normal people were. When all these big people like Stephen A came in, and all these big people who already had money and now they want to create their own independent platform, that's when social media really became divided, because the richer wanted to get richer and they didn't want the poor to get rich. Like I think the division came in because of, again, capitalism. Like they seen the wave, right? If you want to follow the money, just follow the wealthy people. Everybody came to YouTube. So to come to YouTube. Just like Netflix started their podcasting, right? You go to Netflix. Like you follow the wealth, they'll show you where to go. But I think that's when a lot of the division came, kind of like when me and Plug was covering 1181. Somebody said not last Sunday, but the Sunday before, people wanted to watch ESPN, not politics. And that's how you know that everything was starting to create division, because the wealthy started to come and infiltrate. Once the wealthy comes into where middle class and people who are building something is, you're going to always see division, because wealthy people are capitalism, you know what I mean, at its finest. So if you follow them, you'll see that the problem is for them to cause division. You know what I mean?
That's when they change. That's when the stat quo changes, and then that creates like a real life dog eat dog situation.
Yeah, kind of like what you've seen it at ESPN in real time. You know, who we gonna pick? McAfee, Steven. Okay, we gonna keep Steven. We're gonna get rid of all the other black dudes. We're gonna keep McAfee. Okay, cool. All right, like we're watching it in real time, dog. Like we're watching what division looks like. They bring in the wealthy. That's all it is.
Yeah,
dog.
and then it's plug and play. Then it's plug and play. You know what I mean? And then you just pull this one out, plug that one in. All right, see, because it doesn't change, because the people that are watching, they're just watching. They don't have like she said, we bring back to a true boycott. When they talk about a true boycott, yeah, definitely. All right, say if that happened, boom, Ryan got fired. We go, boop, we ain't watching ESPN. You know what I mean? Be like, oh man, we number one viewer. Yeah, but they'll still see a decline. I might be a part. That one time that we did it might be a part of 15,000.
Yeah. Think about it this way. If you want to break it down to dummy term, even when we talked about the pandemic creating all this money for like people will rather a DoorDasher bring them their pizza than the pizza company.
That's crazy work. That is absolutely ridiculous. Think about ridiculous. That's
like think about that. You're paying an extra fee for something that the company already offers, but you'll choose the third party.
Goofy as hell. Goof ass.
So, and speaking of that, y'all, before we move on, I did look up some of the biggest like corporate winners whenever it came to, or I'm not gonna say winners, people who benefited, companies that benefited from the pandemic. Number one was Amazon, which is online shopping and cloud services. They jumped roughly from 281 billion in 2019 to 386 billion in 2020. Of course, you got the big pharma, Pfizer and biotech for vaccines and treatments. So they went from about 41.7 billion in 2020. They doubled to 81.3 billion in 2021. So Pfizer, they later projected another 32 billion in vaccine revenue for 22. Moderna, of course, Walmart, groceries, essentials, and e-commerce. Their first year, the fiscal year revenue reached 560 billion, growing by about 35 billion. So that included like a 69% growth during its fourth quarter from that. Zoom is number 5.
Microsoft.
DoorDash is number 6. They went from 885 million in 19 to 2.85 billion in 2020. Its fourth quarter 2020 revenue increased 226% year over year. Not 100%, but 226%. Netflix is number 7, and it finished up 2020 with approximately $25 billion in revenue. Of course, Microsoft, Microsoft, that was number 8. Apple, computers, tablets, and digital services. And then home fitness was number 10 on this list. Consumer health companies like Peloton, Clorox, Lysol, stuff like that, so yeah.
And that is everybody. I can see all of those companies sitting down at one table.
Yep.
And somebody sitting at the end of the table with their fingers like this going,
name Fauci.
Guys, we have a great idea. Of course, we're going to lose a few people. No big deal.
Few million.
But guess what? Who are these people anyway? We got to think about ourselves, guys. And ourselves, we got to think about our bottom line. When we do this, guys, we're all going to benefit. All we ask is that you keep your mouths closed and just get ready for what's about to happen. Okay. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned. Wow.
and think about this now. We per the WHO, we approximately lost about 14 million people, right?
Woo!
During COVID, we had about 7.28 million babies born. So even though we lost 14,
we gained half.
You can't stop them from fucking.
No, you sure can't.
You can't stop them. Hey,
them COVID babies.
I ain't got to go to work this morning. I'm finna drop some dang-a-lang out.
And just to close up this too as well, the people who gained monetarily during COVID, it says now during the pandemic, people or companies benefiting during the pandemic does not necessarily mean that a company remains successful afterward. Companies like Zoom, Peloton, and several other like pandemic stocks later lost most of their peak market value as people started to return into offices, stores, and gyms. So they got that big boom, but then it declined afterwards.
But it really didn't decline. You think about somebody who got a Peloton, right? That's debt. They still get paid from debt collectors. Yeah, so like.
Mrs. B said, Uncle Plug, it's not even attacking the powers that be, more so like combating the powers that be. We are under attack. Penny said, this is a country based on pride and individualization. It's money. Monday, Penny. We can't unite. It's on purpose.
It's
individualization.
There you go.
Did I say it right that time?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's on purpose. The only parties are haves versus have-nots. Penny was an English teacher. I'm struggling, Penny. Help me out. I need to go speech therapy. Penny said every person throughout history has tried to unite us as a group, no matter the color, has been unaligned. Mira said, I was outside during the pandemic. We were barbecuing and relaxing, but the one thing I found out is that I can't be anyone's teacher. Thankfully, my child went to school started school after the pandemic. Penny, but they were still wearing masks. They still had to wear masks his kindergarten year. Penny said they had the wrong agenda to unite under because it wasn't greed and control that was the message. Because it wasn't greed and control. That was the message. Okay. Penny said, souls, it wasn't convenience. They died from more dependence on another system that can be taken from us overnight. Slavery comes in different forms.
Okay.
Ooh. Boy, look at here.
Maddie said, facts, souls, and rain. I miss my 3 a.m. shopping trips to Walmart. Yes. I used to love that. Lou Pinkney. Welcome in. She said hello. Or he, I'm sorry. Classic said people pick and choose when winning with the system is doable. The system needs to be demolished. Real life Hunger Games.
True.
Hey Rue said that's a fact. Welcome in, Hey Rue. Appreciate you being here. He said peace, peace, the Raw Society staff and the chat.
I like the style when he said it.
The rich love to take our position as if they are us.
Mm-hmm.
Classic said paper money isn't even 300 years old. Money isn't real. It's a part of the slavery rebrand. We are all being bullied.
Yes, yes, that was just to take our minds off of the actual paperwork.
Do y'all think eventually literal currency will go away?
Huh?
Like no more cash, no more coins. You think that'll go away? Everything will be digital currency.
Oh yeah,
Eventually.
it has to happen.
We're 60 to 70% already converted to digital currency. Like the cryptocurrency is it's in front of you to think like that's bad. Oh, I don't believe in that. It's not backed by anything. But the amazing thing is that the actual dollar is backed by absolutely nothing. But yet at least the cryptocurrency is backed by the dollar. So it's like you're worried and saying, I don't like something that's backed by nothing, but yet you have your full faith in everything that's not backed by nothing. It's like it's 3-card Molly. You know what I'm saying? And like I ain't even show you the queen. I ain't even tell you to follow the pick. You know what I'm saying? It's like I ain't even show you that it was a queen in there at all. It's amazing, man.
Hey, Rue done came in and said, howdy, Mathis, yo, Angie Martinez into his house.
What's up, boy?
Tommy said he ain't having it.
Oh, wait, Tommy said, nope, she doesn't look like Angie. Stop it, Sim.
God,
they both from New York. I bet they both from New York. They both got to be from New York. Tony Salam.
Hey, Tanner, baby. He said, we there.
Yeah, we're talking about the pay.
Oh, okay. Tommy said, start here for biblical truth, Pastor Gino Jennings.
For sure, though.
Tommy said, hashtag FCoolJC. Classic said, trees grow apples. Who was the first mofo to say this is my tree and you got to pay for these apples? He said, I beat you up against this tree trunk.
Hey, remember the mountain we was talking about? The mountain. Someone was selling a mountain that came with about 200 acres. Like, who gave you the authority to own this mountain? Thank God, man. But these people crazy. Man. This is crazy, bro.
Class said, please let Plug read. Let Plug read that so he can read it correctly. The trees grow apples.
Credit and debit card. Oh,
no, that one.
Oh, trees grow apples. Who was the first mofo to say, hey, this is my tree and you got to pay for these apples? Bitch, I'll beat you up against this tree trunk, bitch.
Okay, there we go. Penny said credit and debit cards were the first step to digital currency. We didn't even see it coming.
No, the what it was called, the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is this. That's the chip. They didn't have to implant it into you. It's this.
Yeah.
That's what we pay with. That's what we order with. That's what bills, everything. Here. This is it.
Thomas said facts. Rue said, Salami, you're full of baloney, Wim. Rue's laughing. Thomas said, exactly. Go ahead, Bud, read it so you can read it in class.
How is this your mountain, sir? I'll slap you, dude.
He said perfect. Rue says she does have similarities to Angie. Angie very pretty. Oh, thank you, Rue.
Oh, Rue, you ain't rude at all, bro.
All right, man. That was a good one. That was a good one, man. We're gonna move on to segment number 3. Me and Plug kind of softly landed on this yesterday, but we're gonna dive a little bit more into it. So here comes segment number 3.
Yeah. You're not rocking with the realest podcast in the room. No middleman. Souls. Soft rain. Uncle Plug. Let's go. No middleman.
So as we all know, Stephen A. Smith came out and gave an apology to Kyrie Irving. We're going to play a little bit of it. But this segment number 3 is about Kyrie receives an apology. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this on a deeper level. So here we go.
Welcome to the special edition Stephen A. Smith show. I'm out on vacation, what have you, but I felt compelled to come on the air. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I have to do something that I've done in the past, but I haven't had to do but so much in my career. I just feel compelled to do it today. And that's to issue an apology. There's several people that we all owe apologies to, and I'll put myself at the front of the list. But none more so than the apology that I owe to Kyrie Irving. Now, I know that people didn't see, and his name has not come up over the last several months too much because he sustained a devastating knee injury that kept him out this entire season from playing with the Dallas Mavericks. Probably could have came back early if they were playing for something, but since they weren't playing for much because they were losing basketball games, and Cooper Flag was continuing to develop and ascend, he wasn't really needed. So Kyrie Irving eventually will be back next season, and he'll be the superstar guard that we know him to be, a scoring machine, one of the greatest handles we've ever witnessed, one of the greatest skilled players we've ever seen in NBA history. But this is not about him, the basketball player. This is about him, the man. The reality is that Kyrie Irving, no matter what we think, may have been more right than we have given him credit for, and unquestionably was more vilified than he deserved. And ladies and gentlemen, it starts with me. Keep telling y'all before on many, many occasions, I'm a man. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But when it comes to Kyrie Irving, I can't apologize strongly enough. You know, you may be wondering what I'm talking about because you may not be paying but so much attention to politics. I do. I always have and I always will. Not from an aficionado's perspective, but just as a conscientious observer, watching the news, watching these shows, listening to perspectives, reading the newspapers, etc. I pay attention to some degree. Not an expert. But I watched a gentleman by the name of Dr. Anthony Fauci show up on Capitol Hill. Show up on Capitol Hill just this past Wednesday. And Dr. Fauci was up there. And he was testifying. He was appearing before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee because they wanted to know specifically about his knowledge in regards to the coronavirus pandemic and what role he may have played, inadvertently or otherwise, in what ravaged this country and this world for over a year, if not longer. 1.2 million American lives were lost. Worldwide, more than 7 million deaths were officially reported. The World Health Organization estimates approximately 14.9 million excess deaths in the year 2020 and 2021 alone. And while that stuff was going on, we saw Dr. Anthony Fauci essentially protected. We saw him essentially labeled untouchable in terms of questions or scrutiny or anything like that. We saw vaccine mandates and booster mandates and, distancing stipulations and mask mandates and all of this other stuff. And along the way, there were a select few individuals in the world of sports, especially, that stood up and said, nah, I'm not down for this. And it was people like me who were critical of him. In my case, it wasn't about the vaccine itself. It was about the fact that from a societal perspective, if we all got to deal with it, we all got to deal with it. And I looked at a willingness for one to sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the team, even though you thought something would be unhealthy for you, potentially. And I felt like it was worth the risk. I didn't want to take the vaccine, but I took it. Millions of other people didn't want to take the vaccine, but we took it. Why? Because there was a mandate that was that was handed down. And if we weren't willing to meet that mandate, our jobs, our livelihoods, if not compromised in a very significant way, would be completely stripped from us. But there were others who had the courage to say, bump that. And one of those people at the forefront was Kyrie Irving. I bring his name up because I had my issues with him from a leadership standpoint, never as a player, because he's sensational, but with him in terms of leadership. And I didn't look at it as being courageous. I looked at it as being selfish. And I watched Dr. Fauci on Capitol Hill yesterday. And the person I thought about most was Kyrie Irving. There were others. Aaron Rodgers, then of the Green Bay Packers, before moving on to the Jets and ultimately Pittsburgh Steelers. There was Novak Djokovic, greatest tennis player in the world. There was Bryson DeChambeau, golf extraordinaire. There was Conor McGregor of the UFC. There was Cole Beasley of the NFL's Buffalo Bills. There was Bradley Beal of the NBA. Jonathan Isaac playing for the Orlando Magic. Bradley Beal playing for the Washington Wizards. There was Kirk Cousins for the National Football League as well. There was Tyler Perduzzi for the Detroit Red Wings in the National Hockey League. There was Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. List went on and on. But Kyrie Irving stood out in my mind because of the heat that he was taking. And how folks were piling on because that was just the latest transgression in their eyes that he was committing and subjecting the public to. He refused the vaccine. New York City's mandate made him ineligible for home games. And he linked his stance to people losing jobs over vaccine mandates. It was Aaron Rodgers, said he was immunized, not necessarily vaccinated, tried to be slick with that. We got on him about that. But then disclosed that he had not received an authorized COVID vaccine and had pursued an alternative immunization protocol. He defended bodily autonomy and criticized the NFL was committing and subjecting the public to. He refused the vaccine. New York City's mandate made him ineligible for home games. And he linked his stance to people losing jobs.
So he inked his stance to people losing their jobs.
Man of the people.
I think this is something very important. We just spoke about it in our last segment, that over 22 million people lost their jobs in 2 months. But you would have thought 22 million people lost their jobs when President Trump took the office. Kyrie Irving was already taking the stance for what was most important, people losing their jobs. How do you guys feel about the Stephen A. Smith apology? And how do you guys feel about what Kyrie, and as you see, there was a list of others. They just weren't as polarizing as Kyrie was. So it was easy to do news on the person that's the most popular. Just to give y'all some details of talking points, he was suspended in the fall of 2021. He also was the New York City's indoor vaccination mandate, which made him ineligible for home games specifically. He gave up a 4-year, $100 million contract extension over this decision, and he later admitted he reportedly asked the Nets to release him during the suspension, which they failed to do. So the mandate was lifted in New York by March the 22nd, when Irving returned and later was traded to Dallas. So how do you guys feel about this? We're going to keep Kyrie on the stream for this one.
Like we said yesterday, like I said yesterday, big ups to Kyrie for standing on something bigger than himself, because he was thinking about the people, man of the people. I'm also going to give him a kudos to Stephen A., him being a man. You know, I'm kind of happy for Stephen A. that he has his own personal platform.
Yeah.
That he can go and address these issues, you know, that he can't address on Disney's channel. And that he can actually get behind this and say what he needs to say. And I really commend him for coming back and righting that wrong that he initially put out there about Kyrie. So it just says a lot about his character, you know. And you know, I mean, a lot of people dislike Stephen A. for whatever reason, but he is one of the most polarizing news, sports news, you know, not analysts, but actually provider in the game. Stephen A. is the creme de la creme of sports analysts in the game. So, you know, thank him for coming out and saying that. I'm pretty sure that Kyrie really would appreciate it, hearing him say this on his own platform, you know, and understanding that he couldn't say it on SportsCenter, even though they have more eyes on SportsCenter, you know.
Go ahead, Rain. I do have a question I want to pose to you guys. It's probably going to be controversial, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Being as someone who worked through the pandemic and the mandate for the vaccine, I did take the vaccine. So at that time, it was like either you do the vaccine or you don't have a job type deal. So I had a tough decision to make, you know, being the sole provider at that time of me and my little family. I had a decision to make. So I understand some people's, and that was before my job offered, if you don't take the vaccine, then due to religious purposes or you know, personal beliefs or whatever, then you have to test daily and you have to purchase your own test and test daily before you come up in here and show us that you have a negative test type deal. If that was an option like placed in the beginning, then knowing what I know now, that I probably would have taken that option as well. But Kyrie being in this spotlight that he was in, and having a stance and taking a stance saying, no, we're not going to do this type deal. He was in more of a place to
Isolated.
do this. Huh?
I said isolated.
Yeah. He was more in a place to do, you know, to stand up against this. And when you have those types of convictions within yourself, like, no, I'm not gonna take this. I'm not gonna do this I'm not gonna put this in my body. This is, you know, this ain't real. This is all a hoax. You know, I don't know what his beliefs were at the time, but for him to say, hey, it is what it is. I'm not doing it. Y'all can continue to do it what you want, do what you want to. I'm not gonna do it. I don't recommend anybody doing it. So people that do make those stances, like I do know people personally that did not take the vaccine and chose not to take it. My first reason was my job. The second reason was I didn't want to, with me being on the outside and my mom and my son being on the inside, I didn't want to bring them. I was more so preventing them, hoping to prevent them. I didn't let my son take the vaccine as well. But with the research that was done at the time, the small little amount of research, I did recommend my mom to take it because they were saying like the older population needed some type of protection as far as that goes, with lessening the symptoms whenever they do, or if they were to contract the virus. But and I done went all around the world, and I apologize. But with that being said, Stephen A. Apologizing, rightfully so. I know people in the spotlight get ragged a lot for going against the grain. So, but I do give Kyrie his props for going against the grain and standing firm in his decision. So.
All right. So I have a question for you guys. It's a two-part question. So the first part of the question is, when will we start to stand up for those who are here with us more than we stand up for those who are not here with us. That's part one. And the reason why I asked this question is because as Kyrie was fighting almost an independent battle by himself, the NBA also chose to sit out during the same COVID pandemic bubble when Jacob Blake was shot in Wisconsin. And then later on, the Milwaukee Bucks refused to take to court August 26th when the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and a couple others, when they boycotted in Milwaukee. So why do you think we don't stand up for those who are here as much as we stand up for those who aren't here with us?
So I'm telling you, it's them dollars, bro.
No, I'm saying this is not comparing. Like, I'm not talking about the debt, but I'm just saying, like, now, you know, because you think about it, we're breaking this down throughout the night, right? We just found out how many people were dying during the pandemic, how many jobs. Think about it. Kyrie was standing up for jobs that he was standing up now, aftermath, for 22 million jobs.
Because he's thinking about the ones that's actually paying for the tickets to actually come watch him play.
Yes. So why don't we have? Because I asked these questions. We talked about it on No Middleman Plug and Rain. I don't know if y'all remember, because Alyssa was up here. It was on Grown Folks Business or whatever. We were having a debate because we were asking, why isn't LeBron standing up for Kyrie? Like, why isn't the biggest voice in the game not standing up for him, who's here? But then we'll boycott weeks later an issue that's going on in society. Not trying to inflate the two or anything. I'm just asking the question, like, when will we start standing up for those who are still here? When will our fights be about what we see every day?
When the masses push this way, like most people today with the social media mindset, with that series that me and Doe did, that most people's opinion is swayed by popular opinion. So when you are a part of that 78% that's over here, the other 28% over here, you know, it's not, you know, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. So it takes more of them. Like, say if all the NBA team, all the NBA players was like, nah, man, we ride with Kyrie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it has anything to do with them dollars, ain't nobody riding. You're going to be out there by yourself. Now, should he feel some kind of way? No, he shouldn't. You know why? Because he understands that these boys going to protect that dollar. Kyrie ain't got a whole bunch of kids running around here. I think he got one, don't he?
Kyrie?
Yeah.
I think he got a daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
He got a daughter. He has one.
Yeah.
All these other guys, they trying to protect that dollar. It's all about that dollar. All these guys are getting extorted. The money we think that they have, they don't have it. And they're trying to protect that dollar. When that dollar's at play, that fictitious dollar that's at play, well, you better believe it, man. Everybody's going to try to protect it at all costs. It's like them dogs at the dog track following that mechanical rabbit around that pole, around that track. That's all they do. They chasing that dollar, man. And nobody's going to allow that. I mean, it's not. They're not going to allow that to stop it, man. So they're not going to be working down there. They say the ones that are not here, all right, this went too far. Because they could have felt somewhere about their boy, they road dog, somebody that they admire in the league, taking shots because, you know, he stood by himself. And then this happens. Now we got to do something. Because we couldn't stand up for that. You know what I mean? They got us by the nuts on this one. But this one, we could take a stance on this one. You know what I mean? Because what he said in the song, one of fatigues to keep you intrigued, but the loss of life, the only thing niggas believe. Like, thank you for your service, but at the same time, you know what I mean? You ain't even think about the ones that was over there that had gave their life already. You saluting the ones who risking their life, but you ain't think about the ones that gave their life. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody calling you on Memorial Day and say Happy Memorial Day. You like, what you calling me for? It's for the dead soldiers. I'm Veterans Day. You know what I'm saying? Niggas in fatigue will keep you intrigued, but the loss of life, the only thing niggas believe.
Yeah, I just thought I'll ask the question. I just think that would be almost one of the most powerful proactive ways to cut down on a lot of things that happen in society. If we were proactive about those who are here, like I'll give you a positive spin on it, right? Even though I might not agree with everything, well, how hard people are going for Carmelo Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna mean more if he gets out. You see what I mean? Because like he's still here. He's going to be able to get out and speak on his behalf. He's going to be able to get out and make a movement, make a foundation, you see what I mean? Like he's here. So like, why don't we fight for those even harder who are here? Because they're going to be the ones who can now continue to move that needle. Because I don't care what you say, you can agree, disagree with the situation with him, but the day he gets his freedom, all that support he sees that he received, it's no way you're not going to want to move America. There's no way. You might see it out of a different lens, but I don't see you not wanting to move the needle. You know what I mean? Thank you. I just thought I'll ask the question, like, because I like that's what I always I know a lot of people feel like, but that's what I kind of think about is like, okay, we're talking about this, but man, okay, Plug doing this though. Like, why we ain't riding for Plug? Like, that's how I be thinking, like, he here. Like, why are we not being on his wagon even harder too? Because he's gonna be able to see the difference, make a difference, and be the difference.
Yeah.
Because once they're gone, unless you want a bill or a scholarship, or it's just going to be something named after you. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't going to be like, that's it. And then it has to be the people who truly love you who pushes it forward. You see what I mean? So,
I hear you.
We can get to the comments though.
Class said, we even knew Kylie was solid. We don't want to hear that ish. Classic said, you planted your flag firmly on Kyrie's neck for months on end. Eat a bratwurst. Classic said, Kylie would give him grace though, so I'm going to let him rock. Kyrie. Classic said, man, no, I can't stand when people think a genuine apology washes everything away. No, sirski.
It's as that's just one of my rules. When a man is man enough to stand in the pain and give you one, give you that apology, just like he can give you a foul one, you accept it.
Maddie said they got me with the vaccine about a week after I got out of the hospital, so I took it because I was like, I won't make it if I get COVID again. But if I knew what I know now, I would not have taken it. Maddie said, so it is one of the questions I have asked myself and others, and I can't figure it out. I feel we need to support each other in life and death. Classy said, money is no excuse. Mike Hunt said, now they're thinking about it. We think about is why we have the highest volunteer output in America from young people since World War II with Trump in office, and the lowest occurred under Biden. He also said, like, community is going to have to get this ish together. Democrats effed you over, destroyed LBJ by putting the removal of the black father on the nucleus of the family with the welfare state. He also said, and that's why you have 89% of all crimes are made by less than 18% of the population. That's Black, usually young men between the ages of now 14, dropped 2 years ago, and 58 Black men.
Thank you for the information, Mike.
Yeah. He said yes, because you get in echo chambers. You don't have all I gotta do is wait for the facts to come out. They're coming out, and every one of those white kids in Alabama that you hated on, big. Classic says, save them words. That fair one is what is Niski.
All right, man. All right. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about that, man. Shout out to Kyrie, man, for making the ultimate sacrifice, dog. You did something that everybody not willing to do, and you came out on the bigger end.
For sure.
What am I? I don't know what he said. So you have been wrong more than right. Spell right. But you get to work yourself up. You raise your biggest weight for the evidence. Oh, he's talking about something else. Yeah. All right. Anyway, man, we're gonna move on to our last segment, which is going to be Souls Talk. So here we go. So for Souls Talk, tonight's question is fame worth others dying? So we always talk about fame. We always talk about individuals wanting to receive certain things. Notoriety is a big one. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody feels like they the next one. Everybody feels like they him. But you're going to hear a little bit of Fauci's diary of what actually promoted him or motivated him to continue to move forward with the lie. And he's going to also disclose some other things of how he felt when he walked in rooms. So listen to this.
See us on your cell phone. We do have new apps, so you want to delete your old app and download the new one. So, Victor, I wanted to look at it since you and Jack talked a little bit about Fauci. I know that there's been a lot of news out about the origins of the virus, and it was clear very early on that at least there was a debate whether it was produced in a lab or not, and that Fauci stifled the debate, saying that it was produced in the lab. At least these diaries show that, and I know that the presses have been on that. He's also went after people like Scott Atlas and Jay Bhattacharya, which you and Scott talked about extensively. I was more curious and interested in this personal fame and his love of the celebrities and the general narcissism, because I think people are going to be stunned by what he had to say. So I'm going to read, and humor me a little bit here because it's a little bit long. He says in his diary, "The situation with our national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It is not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable people in the world. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I cannot even read all the things that are written about me since I'm so busy. Seriously, POTUS seems to be enamored of me even though I'm taking the spotlight away from him. We are developing a very unique and interesting relationship. The entire Secret Service Corps is coming over to me and chatting. They let me into the first gate without even checking ID. Everyone is worried about my health and welfare, probably because it's all over the place that I am almost 80 years old." And I'm reading that like a little kid because that 80-year-old sounds like a little kid here, Victor. So
he's an academic of sorts. I mean, he left medical school and he wasn't really a practicing doctor. He went right into the bureaucracy and he worked his way up. And then he turned what was somewhat an obscure agency at the time, the Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, because, I mean, we do have the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and we have the FDA, and we have the National Institute of Health. But somehow, because he was there 40 years, he built an industry, and he got all of this power, but he had all this power within kind of a closet community. So when he got out, he got a little bit of fame during the AIDS crisis when he was in his 40s, and that was a narcotic. That addicted him to it. So then when the influenza came out in 2013, he had in those diaries, there's mention that he feels shorted, that he doesn't get enough airtime. So this was his big bonanza. And the problem he has is not just that he was wrong. I mean, he said masks have no utility, but you can then later you have to wear a mask, and then 2 is better. And then he said, if you get the double sequence, Moderna, Pfizer, you will not be infectious and you will not be infected. It's that simple. It's that clear. And then 4 months later, after his vaccination, he not only got infected, but he hid that he had a pulmonary infarction. And so he had an embolism, basically. And that was a recognized side effect in some elderly patients that had the vaccination. But the biggest problem he's having is he went to Congress and he went into the public domain. He said things. So you mentioned he went after Jay Bhattacharya, and he went after Martin Kuhlendorf, and he went after Scott and Gupta, the doctor from Oxford, and he went after Scott Atlas. So why did he go after them? He went after them because he called them the Three Stooges, and then he called Atlas. He actually called up the woman, Alicia Griffith, that's working in The View. He called her up, or she called him up. It's unclear who called first, to fire Scott Atlas. She was working for the Trump administration. So they hated Scott Atlas because he was not impressed by Fauci or Deborah Birx. And so he kept bringing in, I've known Scott for 20 years. He just kept bringing in data and said, here's a study, here's a study, here's a study, here's a study. If you shut down the schools, you will lose years of education at this key moment. If you put people and stuff them into houses and apartments, expect higher suicide, familial abuse, substance abuse. If you do this, expect alcoholism. If you do this, expect when you let them out, they're going to go crazy. And he went on, and you will destroy livelihoods. You will destroy small businesses. You'll bankrupt the country. And people will not go to the doctor to get PSA tests, breast exams, you name it, and the cancer and death rate will go up. And then he said, most radically, go ahead and get the vaccinations. We think that might have some utility, but it doesn't stop the virus. They got very angry at that. And then who's they? Birx.
So there you have it. They're breaking down. If you want to hear more about the diaries, they actually read them over at the Signal. They break them down. This gentleman right here is actually a book scholar. Victor Davis Hanson has a lot of great books if you depending on what you like to read. But they actually broke down even more of the diary throughout the interview. And you notice that everything was about the attention that Fauci was receiving. Everything was about the power. You even heard them break it down. This happened during the AIDS epidemic as well. Fauci has been behind a lot of things that have taken out minority groups and others. So again, is fame worth others dying? This sounds like a person who was seeking fame, seeking notoriety, wanted attention. And do you guys feel like sometimes people can go to these extreme levels to receive what they want?
Of course. Of course. You see it every day online.
Mm-hmm.
People staging dangerous acts just to go viral, just to make some, it's just, it's serious that they do it at the people's expense. Like that's the evils that, hold these high positions over us is just, it's sickening, bro. It's extremely sickening. And just for fame, that just shows me how more evil you are for the fame. Man, about 8 months from now, when this story subsides and people move on with their life, they won't even remember you. They haven't even mentioned you until you came to Capitol Hill. Probably 3-4 years. And now you come to Capitol Hill with this nonsense, and guess what? Yeah, you a story now, but once this subsides in 8 to 9 months, no one would never even remember you. What's that dude's name? Remember the doctor, man? Yeah, with the COVID thing. What the name is? Look him up real quick, man. Google it. Nobody gonna be studying you, man. You did all that evil thinking you gonna stand the test of time. You're gonna be a blip. You're gonna be a blip. With all that goes on every day, every week, every month, all year, man, you was a sucker. You was a pawn. You weren't even a rook. You weren't a bishop. You weren't a knight. You're a punk. And they exposed, and what they're gonna do? They're going to dispose of you. They're going to dispose of you. Just like they disposed of those people who passed away from this unfortunate incident, they're going to dispose of you. Like a paper towel in an airport bathroom, chunk.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
What's your thoughts, right?
I don't see how he can sleep at night with just the he had no respect for human life. He didn't value human life at all. And for him to watch the world in chaos, because that's essentially that's what it was. A little bit of chaos. Now, I mean, it wasn't overly chaos, but watch the world just be in dismay, I guess you could say, for the time that it was. And he's like a mad scientist. He just stood there with his arms folded.
Yeah.
Texas said Plug has been name calling since earlier, chat. He upset today, chat.
It's been a long day, man. You were still in there? Hey, Classic, you were still in there? Was you there for the whole thing, bro? That was a tough one, man.
Yeah, but no, he just the disregard for human life. Just, knowing how knowing that how it truly went down, knowing that you sat there and lied to the world. Oh no, this come from animals. This is transferred from, animals to humans. Knowing that you knew that it was made in a laboratory over there in Wuhan. And then for her to read his diary.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get it and download it so I can read through it. I want to say you probably can get it. It's probably a public document at this point.
Right.
I think it's just very unique that even someone takes the time out to document not really what's going on, but what's going on around them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got on the base without them checking my ID. The POTUS is starting to really have a thing for me. You know what I mean? He was talking about Joe Biden, which later on pardoned him. So just very unique, man. I just thought it was a good question to pose. His diaries are very detailed with how he felt about things during certain times. He actually even talks later in the diary about President Trump. He talks a lot about how he actually wanted to protect the people. Like, he literally said it word. He said that he's not focusing on money. He actually wants to protect the people. If you watch this interview with Victor David Hans, they read it. Like, and I think sometimes people got the wrong insight because of what was being put on TV or clips that was being put out. But in his diary, he actually speaks about like the humanity of how President Trump was compared to President Biden. So just there, just think it's something very interesting to read. Doesn't mean that it makes President Trump looks any different in anybody's eyes, but I just think it's very unique to have someone who was sitting there that got to see both. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
With him speaking so negatively, or negatively about Biden, why would Biden pardon him?
He didn't speak negative about Biden.
Well, he said that Trump focused more on humanity.
Yeah, but
Biden did.
Yeah, but if you like when she just read it, she talked about how the POTUS was taking, because you got to think about it. When COVID started, Biden was on his way out the door. He only had short moments with Biden.
Right, and plus, Kamala had to go before him.
Yeah.
So even in that instance, but why would Biden pardon him?
I think because Biden knew the plan as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like,
like
you knew what the play was.
Yeah, he knew what it was too. Yeah.
You knew this was a play. This was a play. This was a play to say, okay, let's just give it a trial run. This was, I think that was the trial run. Hey man, y'all listen, man. Hey, if y'all really want to, hey, let me go and throw this out there to everybody in the chat, man. If you got 20, matter of fact, if you got a rack that you can invest, holla at your boy. If you got a rack, just a rack. If you got a rack that you can invest, if you want to wait until like October, I'll be the guinea pig and I'll show you exactly what was done. This is for the family. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to set something up and start investing, you know, into your future, y'all get with me. You know how to get in contact with me. If not, you know, Rain can put it in the chat. Big plug 34 with 2 G's at gmail.com. Y'all get at me. And then what we'll do is we'll sit down and we can talk about our financial futures, man. Because we may, as crazy as it sounds, we may need them bunkers. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Classic said, based on American history, the man they are trying to vilify is possibly trying to help. I've been saying that. I agree. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I think when people go out of their way to make someone the villain, you have to be more wary of the people who go out of their way. Because look at what's happening right in front of our eyes with Fauci. Nobody had to go out of their way for him to eventually become the villain. It was already there. It was already there. So like I always tell people that like
out there.
Yeah, you might not agree with everything. I always tell people you might not agree with everything that's happening. We'll never agree with any president, everything they do. But I think it's very I wish we got to go get back on our rewinds, man, because we talked about a lot. We talked about so much of this, and I argue with my cousins and family on grown folks' business about this. And I was showing them that if you go back and pay attention to the first COVID interviews by President Trump, the first day he comes out and he tells people, hey, do what you feel is best for you, blah, blah, blah. He tried to explain things to everybody. And then 24 hours later, he came back and said, hey, I'm going to put it on the states. Y'all can do whatever you want to do for your state. Create, like, if you, I'm going to go find it so we can play it on even if it's same sort of different routes. But there's an interview less than 24 hours apart where he initially tries to tell people how to handle it. And then he got so much backlash from certain groups that 24 hours later, he comes back and he literally states, hey, I'm gonna let the states handle it. You can dictate how you want things to go. And that's when I seen the biggest shift during the COVID pandemic.
Do you think that he did that because of the backlash, or do you think that he did that because he prematurely came out and said this what needs to be done, and then he got advice from other people?
No, I don't.
No,
Trump never follows advice. We're seeing that right now. So like, you see what I mean? Like when you think about his personality now that he's showing, right? He's not following anybody's advice. He done fired Elon. He did he came out and he got so much backlash. Kind of like what Plug said. Sometimes that pressure get on you. It just be so loud that you kind of just throw in the towel. Like, okay, but whatever y'all want to do, whatever makes y'all feel. And I think that's what his first presidency was. It was one of those, okay, I'm going to try to do what I can. Okay, y'all don't like that. Let me backpedal again. And then now he's just like, okay, I ran for this presidency. I told you what I'm going to do. Y'all can hate me if you want. I'm just telling you, I'm doing everything I told you I was going to do. And you're going to see more and more of this in society. People are going to start moving off of, well, I'm done with that. I'm done with following that rule. We tried it that way. We're going to go this way. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see more and more of it. throughout society. People are tired of just going with the regular rigmarole every day. Like it's not resulting in results. People want results. Well, people who really care, they want results.
Yeah, they want results. No, you're right. People want results.
Chris said, I don't want no bunker. I'm outside.
Hey, but Buddy said them tariffs is working so well, which I I digress. That that's why he wants to eliminate taxes.
Chris said, I'm a God. I wasn't made to hide in a hole. This is our world. No man owns anything. We all share by default.
What you think about that, Plug, about the taxes being taken away?
Man, please stop extorting us. I don't call it taxes. I call it extortion. It's extortion. Like, bro, what did you do for me that I had to pay you this year?
I didn't
call the police. I didn't call the police. I didn't use the fire department. I didn't use anything. I didn't use anything. I didn't call the police ever. I haven't even been in an accident.
But that would be local.
Been in a car. I haven't been in a car accident. So if I didn't use local, then what the hell am I paying federal? You understand me? I know exactly where my typing goes.
But
I know where that goes.
But
So
people are afraid. People are afraid to lose taxes because taxes get rid of these programs that people who don't work are now sitting on.
Man, I don't want to make no contribution to that shit.
No, I'm just saying that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate argument about the whole thing. Like
man, hey, shut it.
You take away taxes, you take away the crutch for those who act like they still can't walk without it.
Hey, if my taxes was going solely to senior citizens who needed facilities to live the rest of their last days in comfort, then I would consider. And it's going to be a cap on them taxes. It's going to be a cap. Because I'm not the only one that's contributing to these senior citizens. That's the only thing that I would contribute to. That these senior citizens who have lived and worked and contributed to society all this time, or even the ones who haven't, that are elderly and can't take care of themselves, can live in the lap of, not the lap of luxury, but the lack of coming in comfort for their last days. That's what I'll make a contribution to. Everything else, refusal.
Yeah.
I'm no longer shall I be extorted, bro. I'm not going for that no more. I'm not going for that no more, man. You mean to tell me, like, what am I giving this money up for? Like HOA, extortion. It's extortion.
But if you think about it, Plug, it's our fault though.
I know.
And the reason why I say that is because we are so afraid to talk about certain topics because it hurts people's feelings. And then we always think that these topics are only talking about one group of people when everybody uses welfare. It's not one group under welfare. It's not one group using food stamps. But we take it so personally sometimes that then we fail to talk about it. And then now we end up where we are today, still paying a ton of taxes, not seeing our money. It's going to people who are not improving their own lives. Like, that's what happens. And that's what the system is all about. The system is, how do I cause so much division that anytime I try to introduce something new to the environment, y'all are going to push back. And now your pushback is actually my excuse to keep extorting you.
Mm-hmm. My thing is, if we are using these funds to help take care of those who can't take care of themselves, if you are a red-blooded, full-limb using individual, if you can go shake your ass somewhere, you can go shake a bag of them fries at Chuckles and make you some revenue. No longer shall I be a part of this. That I'm not going to be a part of that anymore. I can't give you nothing. If we do, we come to the negotiating table. Like, you want this? All right, I got this. You'll settle for that? Well, I ain't got that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving you what I put away for myself. You want me to give you a percentage of what I put away for myself. Man, you crazy, man. Y'all there's got to be a loophole to this. You got me up. all the way up. If you think I'm going to give you a portion of what I put away for me, man, you crazy as hell. Man, I ain't going for that no more. Explain. You what Claude told him? Explain yourself.
But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man, this is what No Middleman is about, man. It's about growing, growth, education. I actually want to do an experiment with Plug. I just got to find the time to break it down for him so we can do it before I let rain close. Before I let rain close, I encourage everyone who's here to go check out Killer Mike's podcast.
Conversate.
And I want people to go check it out, because Killer Mike is the perfect example of if you don't talk the way I want you to talk, I won't support it. Killer Mike has over 238,000 subscribers the last time I looked at his page. Killer Mike barely gets 900 views per topic. Killer Mike, every topic he brings up there, he has other Black African-American men talking to you about how to better your life, how to improve your environment, how to invest. His largest, you can go look at it right now. His largest viewed content was 11 minutes long. When they asked him a question about Nolan Wells, he got 118,000 views for an 11-minute clip. He sits on there for 3 to 4 hours talking about how to better the community and can barely get 1K. And that's why I always tell people, positive content is the hardest content to push. So just something to think about. So we appreciate you guys who do tune in, who do want to have a conversation. Not saying that everything we say is right, but for those who really want to have a conversation, I will highly recommend you guys to continue to follow, continue to support. Everybody over at Facebook, we really appreciate you guys. Facebook's been going crazy. I think the last post Rain sent me, I think we had 100 and let me see what it said.
12,000.
I got the numbers right here. You want me to?
So
our highest it's wrong. Our highest video or short reel, that's what I call on Facebook, reel on Facebook right now is at 179,000. No, excuse me, 879,000 views. We currently have 6,000 followers, a little bit over 6,000 followers. And yeah, so we are booming over on Facebook. So if our Facebook crowd or our YouTube crowd come over to Facebook, join us over there, and then our Facebook crowd, make sure y'all come over to YouTube and join us over here on this side too. So we appreciate everybody over there on Facebook as well. We booming over there. Over 1.7 million views total.
In what time frame?
In the last 28 days.
Yeah, 28 days.
But in the last 7 days, it's been 1.3 million. In the last 7 days.
So we
Am I on there? Am I on the clip? Am I on the clip? Am I on there?
I'm not for certain. I got them coming from Oprah's clips, coming over every 12 hours.
So we say that to say, man, like the older people more our age is on Facebook, so it makes sense, right? More people want to have discussions. Even when me and Rain did our first town hall and the second town hall, everyone in that age bracket said one thing, that they appreciate the way we're having the discussion. And I think that's what people really have to start taking away, is that this content is not about being right, because there's no such thing as right. There can be some valid comparisons, which goes over the soul's principle, but we're not here to be right. We're here to just have a discussion. I think, again, I do want to end up breaking down Killer Mike's page with Plug soon, because I think it's just very eye-opening to see a Black man who people really revered when he was getting handcuffed at the BET Awards, and when he was doing all these other things. But the moment he actually creates a platform where he's now bringing to you that HBO series he did when he was taking people from the hood and creating businesses.
Yeah, trigger warning.
Trigger warning. He actually is doing that on his podcast now, and he barely can get 500 to 600 people to watch. He just had Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, which all the people say they love him, and he can barely get 2,000 people to watch. Like, I think it's just very unique. We say we want change. We say we want things to look different, but the moment someone is providing you true knowledge and education, it's overlooked. So, and you can't say it's his delivery, because Killer Mike has been Killer Mike. So you can't say he ain't talented. You can't say he doesn't have, like, Killer Mike is Killer Mike. It's just that he's not spewing the word vomit that people want to hear. So I will highly encourage people. I know Killer Mike don't know me. I don't know Killer Mike, but I do like his information that he puts out, and I will highly encourage people to go over and support the podcast he has called what's called Conversate. Great podcast, great podcast, and a lot of y'all will like it because he had a black gentleman on there. I can't think of his name right now, who talked about changing the curriculum in schools, and then also how to eat healthier, the things that can improve men's health and stuff like that. I said he just has to market better. He'll be fine. He marketed just fine if you got 236,000 subscribers. That means people knew where to go. So, but
That's crazy.
Yeah. He said some can be bored. Okay. So, but yeah, so I would highly encourage people to go over there and get some good information. But again, thank you to everybody who followed the Raw Society Network on Facebook. It has been a blessing to see all that interaction, all the information. Now we just got to find a way to get over there, to get y'all over here. So, but we appreciate you guys. And Rain, the floor is yours, man.
All right, so that's how we do it here on No Middleman, real conversations, raw perspectives, and no filter. Shout out to everybody who pulled up and added to the conversation tonight. Whether you agreed, disagreed, or got your feelings challenged, we appreciate you all for being part of the dialogue. If you enjoyed tonight's discussion, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss us. And make sure you share this stream with somebody who's not afraid of conversation, real conversation. And don't forget, the conversation does not stop when the stream ends. If you are catching this on the rewatch, drop your thoughts in the comment section and let us know where you stand. So until next time, for Souls, Uncle Plug, and your girl, Soft Rain, we are signing off. Good night, and remember, the truth don't need a middleman.
Yeah. No middleman. Truth don't disappear just because time passes. Yeah. Back when the world stopped, streets went quiet. Families prayed while the sirens got louder. Screens kept flashing, another headline. Hope got smaller, but the fear grew stronger. People stay home, dreams got delayed. Small businesses faded away. Some kept working, some lost everything. Everybody remembers those days. Now years later, the questions remain. Different opinions, but the memories stay. If the chapter is closed, why is everybody still searching for what wasn't explained? Questions still remain. Who's gonna answer for the pain? Everybody got a story to tell. Everybody says they know it well. Truth ain't red, truth ain't blue. Truth belongs to all of you. If we're healing, let it start today. 'Cause questions still remain. Some stood firm, some changed their minds. Some paid prices measured in time. Careers shifted, friendships broke. Every decision carried hope. Science moved at record speed. Governments answer urgent needs. Companies grew while the markets climbed. History still sorting every line. Now we're looking through yesterday's smoke, trying to separate facts from hope. Not to divide, but understand how a whole world changed at once. No victory lap, no villains crowned. Just people trying to write it all down. If trust is earned, let truth be seen. That's what accountability means. Yeah, questions still remain. More than 4 want you more than fame. Before we turn another page, let's understand what changed. No middleman, searching for answers, not just.
Yeah. This ain't no handouts. No shortcuts. No middleman.
No middleman.
No middleman.
No middleman. Middleman.
No middleman.
Middleman. Middleman.
No middleman.
Middleman. Middleman. Middleman.
No middleman, I get it direct. Pressure talk, I don't deal in the flex. Cut the line, I don't wait, I collect. If it's mine, I'ma claim my respect. No middleman, I move with intent. Boss moves only, every dollar was spent. No favors, no deals, no rent. Built from the ground, now the whole game bent. Started with a vision, had to cut the distractions. No handshakes, just results and reactions. They was talking plays, I was making it happen. Turn losses to losses, then flipped it to passion.